Hello and welcome to episode 100 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. And since it's the 100th episode, I thought we would talk about, we'd go back to the very first episode, which was the scale outline for the blues. So Barry has these really great scale outlines for songs, which really help you to not only hear what are the appropriate notes, so to speak, but the length of time that they go for. So the length of time, in this instance, we'll do it in the key of C, but like how long a C7 goes for, how long an F7 goes for. And when you're playing the scale in eighth notes, you get to really feel what that time feels like. How much does a bar feel like? How much does two bars feel like? It's really interesting. So, and I haven't heard anybody else do it. So we'll do the blues in C, which starts off with a C7, which as Barry people, we know we only go up to the flat 7. So we'll go up C7, then up F7. Then we'll do C7 up and down. That's the first 4 bars. Then we'll play F7 up and down. Then we'll play C major 7. So we'll change the last note of the C. We'll make it the normal B natural. And when we come down, we're going to end on the third of A, which is a C sharp. The reason being, at that point in the blues, in the jazz blues at least, it's going to be an A7 chord. So he likes to go down to the third of A7, which would be C sharp. So the last 4 bars is going to be, or the middle 4 bars are going to be F7 up and down, C major up and down, to the third of A, which is C sharp. The next 4 bars is going to be G7 up and down, then C major 7 up, G7 up. So it's going to be G7 up and down, C major up, G7 up. So if we were going to do that together, it would sound like this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the scale outline. So that gives you several things. It gives you the notes from which to draw these lines from, and also gives you how long it goes for. So the feeling of how long a bar is, or how long 2 bars is, or how long you have to do the C major before you get down to the third of A, or how long the G7 goes for. It's such a brilliant method to really work. And you do this with every tune. You can do these with all songs. So I think I've done it with How High the Moon, with Cherokee, with rhythm changes, a bunch of tunes. But now I thought, since we're at episode 100, let's look a little deeper into how else we can apply this. So for instance, I've made previous videos on like the first 4 bars of the blues, taking a look at all the different angles that we could attack it. So we could do that with the scales too. So let's say, for instance, we take the first 4 bars, which was C7 up, F7 up, C7 up and down. And let's say we use the tritone for the second 2 bars. So we'll say C7 up, F7 up, and instead of just C7 up and down, maybe we'll use C7's tritone. And by a tritone, I mean if you start on C, you go 3 whole steps above it, and you get to an F sharp. So instead of just playing C7 up and down, we'll play C7 up, F sharp 7 up. So let's see what that sounds like. First 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds pretty. And you know, we play this as guitar players or as piano players. People play this all the time. There it is. We do it all the time. So now we know we can use those scales to solo. C7, F7, and then we'll do C7 into F sharp 7. Or sometimes you could just play straight F sharp 7 the whole time. But let's see what else we have that we can do. So now let's go to the next 4 bars, which is just F7 up and down. And that's true for a normal blues. But sometimes people on that second 4 bars will play, instead of F7, they'll play F major to F minor, which is really pretty too. But that F minor 7 takes B flat 7 scale. because every minor 7 is just the important minor on the 5th of a dominant. So Barry would say that would be B flat 7, F7, then let's say we'll do C7, let's do the F sharp 7, and then we'll play F7, we won't, oh, let's do F major up, and then we'll do B flat 7, which is really pretty. So like if we were playing the blues like that, it would be like, see, F major, F major to F minor, or F major to B flat 7. That's that sound. And you're going to hear that a lot in bird blues and a lot of people's blues. So that's another way to do it. So let's play that again. C7, F7, C7, F sharp 7, F major, B flat 7. Really pretty. Now let's go to that's one way we could do it. Or we could just play plain F7. Up and down, that's fine. Now let's tackle the C major down to the 3rd of A7. So we can say, which is pretty, because that's implying now it's going to A7. But what's interesting is A7, let's use its tritone. So let's say, what's A7's tritone? E flat 7. So why don't we play C major up, and then E flat 7 up, which is beautiful. So now our blues will sound like, if I stay on F7 for that middle 4 bars, let's say. So C, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now the next part is just G7 up and down. But what if we use G7's tritone, which would be D flat 7? So we'll say G7 up, and then we'll play D flat 7 up. So now let's play that whole thing exactly the way we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the last part, we got C major up, and then we got G7 up. But why don't we use G7's tritone? So we won't even play G7, we'll play D flat 7. So we'll play the last part, we'll play C major up, D flat 7 up. Okay, so now let's try to do that with the scales. 1, 2, whole way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really pretty stuff. Now let's do that where we did the F major to F minor, or F major B flat 7. Let's try that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's a lot there, and I probably wouldn't suggest playing everything outside, like using tritone. But what happens if I tried to play? I'm going to try to solo. I'm going to try to use all those. Let me see if I can make it. Sound right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. So I used all of them. The first part was a little bit messed up, but trying to use all of them. Let's try it again. Well, that wasn't quite. Yeah, that was good. I was trying to use tritone every time. It's really something that, like, because you have all these pre-planned things that you've worked out, but then to try to think of changes in exactly that way is an interesting way to look at it. So it just shows you. Another nice thing that Barry does sometimes is he'll play C7. Now, once you get to the F7, he starts doing this. He plays F7, B flat 7, E flat 7, A flat 7, D flat 7, G flat 7, which takes you back to F7. So it's kind of nice. When you start on the F7, you just start going in fourths. So you say F7, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, F. So if we were going to play the scales to that, since we don't have a lot of time, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and only 2 beats of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we would do is we would play, Barry likes to play 1, 2, 3, 5 of each thing. So the scales then would be so let's try to do those in the scales. Let's see. So we'll just put that in. Instead of the F7 for a full, instead of the C7 to the F sharp 7, we're going to do that. So let's see. And then if I can work it out to the F7 right after. 1, 2, 3, 4. Works perfectly. And I like this one too. Sometimes Barry will use the Ladybird turnaround, which in the key of C would be like C major to E flat 7 to A flat major to D flat 7. So he'll do the 1, 2, 3, 5 of all those. He'll do 1, 2, 3, 5 of C, 1, 2, 3, 5 of E flat, 1, 2, 3, 5 of A flat, 1, 2, 3, 5 of D flat. So let's do that for the scale outline with that other little dominant thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, but that's what I love about the scale outline. The scale outline is so brilliant. It's such a brilliant way to think about starting point for soloing. And you could take any one of those examples and create little lines from those things, and now you have a basic outline of everything you're going to use, everything. So even if you just practice just the first one, which is the C, then C back to F sharp, you got to work out little lines that do that little movement. So the C to the F sharp, or let's see. I mean, these little lines. D flat 7. So you're going to use all these, trust me. Anyway, I thought this was a nice way of putting kind of like bookends on episode 1 and episode 100, and hopefully there's another 100, which with Barry's method there could be another 10,000. You know, it's just limitless. So hope you enjoyed it. Have fun practicing your scales for the blues, including all those substitutions. Till next time, thanks.